Hey there, thanks for clicking. My name's Ryan. Welcome to my channel and to this video. If you have a shower threshold, that kind of looks something like this, where there's a small gap between your door and the top of the threshold. Hopefully this video can help you out. I recently did a shower glass install here about 6 months, no, almost a year ago now. And it's held up beautifully. We absolutely love this thing. However, I'm not a professional, I got to admit. And when you close the door, things for the most part are pretty sealed up, but a certain angle when you're actually in the shower, like if you're like scrubbing your face, for example, the water kind of drips off your elbow and goes down the door directly. And then over, a 10-minute shower, you can have a little bit of water build up here on the other side of the thresholds. And you can see there's an actual gap. I was pretty darn close in my measurement, but not perfect, unfortunately. Now, I could have built that threshold up a little bit taller. That is certainly one possibility. Let me just pour some water on here. This is kind of what it looks like after a shower. Just a little bit of water that gathers. You have to kind of wipe it off. And most of it evaporates. It's not a huge deal. On occasion, it'll be overflowed if you take like 2 showers in a row, for example. Like my wife showering right after me, there might be a little bit of water buildup. So this is the problem we're going to solve in this video. So this is what I'm dealing with here. This is a bit unorthodox, I realize. I'm no pro, just a DIYer, and saving huge money here, trying to solve problems around my house on a day-to-day basis. So these are the materials we'll need: a Q-tip, some anti-stick cooking spray, and some 100% silicone caulking. By the way, click that like button, subscribe, and share this video with friends or family if you think this may help. All right, so we're going to get a little bit of that anti-stick cooking spray and the Q-tip. Might want to use a washcloth as opposed to paper towel. We're just going to dab it on here. Now be really careful. We're going to practice our steady hand art skills. We're going to wipe a little bit of that grease on the bottom part of the glass, and you don't want to touch the top of the threshold, because the idea here is that when we apply the 100% silicone caulking next, in our next step, we don't want it to stick to the glass door. We want to prevent it from adhering to the glass, but we do want it to stick to the top of that threshold. So we have the non-stick spray applied with a Q-tip, and now we will get the 100% silicone ready to go here. We'll get it in the caulking gun, and we're going to put a small bead starting right here. Oops, I forgot that little plastic piece. There we go. I don't want it to stick to that. You could also do painter's tape if you want to mess around with peeling and unpeeling, but I like the idea of a little bit of anti-stick spray, because the idea is that silicone doesn't adhere to that, right? And we'll put a small bead. Now, depending on the size of the gap, kind of depends on how much you'll use here. Small gap, we just need a minuscule amount. So we will apply that in a pretty much uniform way. We want it to have a consistent bead here. We're going to take our finger in just a minute and smooth that out. All right, dab your finger in a little bit of this anti-stick spray as well to avoid a nasty mess on your finger. And you get kind of one chance at this, I think. This can be a pretty hot mess if you don't do it in one uniform fell swoop here. And you can see we have a little bit of residue on the top part of the glass, so that means I probably applied too much. So I can very carefully kind of wipe that off. And it's clear caulking, so it's not going to be a big deal. And I realize I'm taking a hit on aesthetics a little bit by doing this, but I'm not really concerned. We're going to let that dry overnight, a good 24 hours actually. And then when you come back, it should have kind of rubberized and cured. And the idea is that it doesn't stick to the glass. Now, you might have had a little bit of sticking, so it's a good idea to take a very small and extremely sharp razor blade. Be careful not to ding your glass. That would be bad news. And when you open the door, this is what you're left with, kind of a built-up, clear threshold that is a little imperfect, but should very much get the job done. You'll notice a little more resistance depending on the shape of your glass door. That big rubber piece that blocks the glass from touching the tile when it's closed, the clear plastic, it's not rubber, it's plastic, I think, or rubberized plastic, that has a little bit of resistance as this opens and closes, but it actually gives it kind of a higher quality feel, I think. Feels heavier. Anyway, that is the idea, so that when you go to shower, we should have a 100% waterproof seal now. The water spray you're seeing there is from when the shower was turned on. Let me wipe that up, and we'll get another shot with that for the most part dry. There we go. I see no water exiting at all. So that would be an option for you. You could also build that threshold up a little bit, take it off, and just build it up by about 1/8 of an inch more. Anyway, hopefully this has helped you out. Thanks.